There comes a point in your life when you get tired of pretending you're okay, tired of acting like you're fine with average, tired of saying a one died when you know deep down you're capable of more right now. You reach that breaking point where comfort becomes suffocating, where excuses sound disgusting, and where your reflection in the mirror starts to look unfamiliar. That's when the shift happens. That's when you stop waiting for permission and you start demanding more from yourself. Because let's be honest, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to drag you out of bed, force you to chase your goals, or hand you your dream. It's on you. Every single bit of it. You've got to look yourself in the eyes and say, I'm done being half of who I could be. You've got to feel that fire in your gut when you think about all the time you've wasted, all the potential you've let sit on the shelf, all the goals you've written down but never fought for. That pain, that frustration, that's your power. That's the part of you that's been waiting to break out. You don't need another motivational quote. You need to wake up to the fact that every second you waste is a second you'll never get back. Time isn't loyal. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're hurt, or if life isn't fair. It moves. And if you don't move with it, you get left behind. You've got to be honest with yourself. How bad do you really want it? Because if you're just saying it, but you're not sacrificing for it, you don't want it. If you're talking about success, but you're still comfortable, you don't want it. Wanting it means you're willing to lose sleep, lose friends, lose comfort, and still keep going. It means when life hits you, you don't fold, you rise, you adapt, you grind harder, you push through pain, through doubt, through every reason your mind gives you to quit. Because you know what's on the other side? Freedom. Not just financial freedom, mental freedom, emotional freedom. The freedom that comes when you finally realize you're not the person life tried to make you. You're the person you decided to become. Every single great thing starts from the decision to stop waiting and start moving. You can't think your way into change. You gotta act your way into it. You gotta take that first uncomfortable step. You gotta do what others want, so you can live how others won't, so you can live how others can't. Every day is a test, and the only question life is asking you is this: how bad do you really want it? The ones who win aren't the most talented, they're the most committed. They don't quit when it hurts, they don't back down when it's hard. They don't back down when it's hard, then breaks. This is your moment to prove to yourself that you're not like the rest. This is your time to stop talking and start executing. Don't waste another day living below your potential. The world doesn't need another dreamer. It needs a doer. And if you've got that hunger, that fire, that voice in your head that refuses to let you settle, then it's time. Time to stop holding back. Time to rise up. Time to become everything you were born to be. Stop competing with others. Start competing with the old you. That's where the transformation begins. Because the truth is, too many people wake up every morning scrolling through their phones, comparing their lives to someone else's highlight reel, measuring their worth against another person's journey, and wondering why they're not there yet. But listen closely, life isn't a race against other people. It's a war against your past self. You don't need to beat them. You need to become someone they could never have imagined being. The man or woman you are today is not your final form. The real battle is not external. Get internal. It's internal. It's you vs you. Every single day the mirror shows you two options: stay the same or evolve. The old you is comfortable, familiar, predictable. The old you loves excuses, comfort, and instant gratification. But the best version of you, the one you're trying to become, doesn't live in that space. That version of you is disciplined, focused, relentless. The old you wants to sleep in. The new you gets up early. The old you avoids the grind. The new you runs toward it. The old you blames circumstances. The new you takes full responsibility. So when you wake up in the morning, stop asking, who's doing better than me? And start asking, am I doing better than I did yesterday? Because the only real competition that matters is the person you were last week, last month, last year. People lose themselves when they chase comparison. They drain their energy trying to live up to someone else's path. But every person's story has its own pace, its own timeline, its own struggles. You can't copy someone else's success because you don't carry their scars, their sacrifices, or their seasons of pain. You're walking your own road. The question is, how far are you willing to push yourself down it? How much better can you make yourself when nobody's watching, when nobody's cheering you on, when no one even believes in you? That's where the real win is separate from the average. The best version of you doesn't need validation. It needs validation. It needs accountability. Think about it. The greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most powerful minds, they aren't motivated by beating others. They're obsessed with self-improvement. They look in the mirror and say, yesterday's version of me is not allowed to win today. They're not afraid to break their own limits because they understand that progress is personal, growth is internal, and success is earned in silence, in repetition, in discipline that nobody sees. They compete with themselves so hard that other people can't even keep up anymore. But you can't reach that level if you're still emotionally tied to comparison. The moment you start comparing, you give away your power. You start doubting your path, questioning your timing, and lowering your standard. You start trying to fit into someone else's idea of success, and that's how you lose your identity. You were not born to replicate someone else's greatness. You were born to express your own. You were not designed to follow someone's footsteps. You were built to create your own trail. The old you wants comfort, validation, and safety, but the best version of you is hungry for growth. It wants challenge, evolution, and mastery. Every day you should be measuring yourself against your own progress. Did you push harder today than you did yesterday? Did you stay focused longer? Did you control your emotions better? Did you stay disciplined when you wanted to quit? Because that's how greatness is built. Small, invisible victories stacked over time until the world starts to notice what you become. The transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens through daily accountability, through facing your weaknesses and refusing to let them define you. Every time you outwork an old habit, an old thought pattern, or an old excuse, you win. Every time you silence the lazy voice inside you, you grow stronger. Every time you choose progress over comfort, you evolve into a more powerful version of yourself. You can't cheat this process. You can't pretend to grow. You can't fake effort, discipline, or consistency. The mirror doesn't lie. You either leveled up or you didn't. You either showed up or you didn't. So stop chasing the illusion of success and start chasing your potential. You already know what the old you looks like. It's time to find out what you're truly capable of. That means pushing yourself when you don't feel like it. That means holding yourself accountable when nobody else will. That means doing the work even when the results haven't shown up yet. Because the growth always starts long before the world claps for you. And the truth is, you can't become the best version of yourself if you're still attached to who you used to be. You've got to bury that old identity, the one that was lazy, fearful, inconsistent. That version of you doesn't belong in your future. Every time you feel like giving up, remember, you're not fighting the world. You're fighting the part of you that doesn't believe in your own power. You're fighting the version of you that settled for less, that stopped trying, that said maybe next time. No, this time you rise. This time you grow. This time you prove to yourself that you can do what you said you do. When you make that switch in your mind from comparison to competition with self, everything changes. You stop getting jealous of other people's success and start being inspired by it and inspired by it. You stop blaming others for where you are and start taking control. You stop waiting for motivation and start relying on discipline. You stop hoping for change and start becoming it. That's the real definition of power. Not being better than them, but being unrecognizable to who you were before. So ask yourself right now, what version of you do you want the world to meet? Because every choice, every habit, every sacrifice is building that version. You can either stay the same or evolve into something greater. And the only person standing in your way is you. No more excuses. No more comparisons. No more limits. Just you every single day, showing up and becoming better than the version that came before. That's how you win. That's how you evolve. That's how you become the best version of yourself. Becoming the best version of yourself means stepping into the fire of self-improvement and staying there until you're refined, not destroyed. It's not about what the world expects from you. It's about what you demand from yourself. The second key to becoming the best version of yourself is understanding that growth requires pain. There is no version of you that becomes great by staying comfortable. The best version of you is hidden behind the layers of your excuses, fears, and habits that no longer serve you. You can't discover that version by wishing for it. You must fight for it. Grind for it and bleed for it. You must reach a point in your life where you no longer seek comfort, but crave transformation, even if it hurts, because it will hurt. Because it will hurt. But that pain isn't punishment. It's proof that you're evolving. When you wake up every morning, the first battle you face isn't with the world, it's with yourself. It's the war between the version of you that wants to stay the same and the version of you that's desperate to grow. That voice in your head that says, take it easy, you deserve a break, or you can do it tomorrow, is not your friend. It's your enemy in disguise. That voice has kept millions of people average, trapped, and invisible. The best version of yourself doesn't listen to that voice. The best version of yourself wakes up and chooses discipline over doubt, progress over comfort, and pain over stagnation. Every single time you win that internal battle, you unlock a stronger version of yourself. Every single time you push through when you don't feel like it, you rewrite your identity. You see, becoming your best self is not about having motivation every day. It's about mastering consistency. Motivation is an emotion. It fades. But consistency builds identity. When you stay consistent through pain, exhaustion, and doubt, you start to see who you truly are. The best version of yourself doesn't appear in moments of excitement. It's forged in moments of resistance. It's when your body is tired, your mind is screaming to quit, and your circumstances are against you, yet you keep showing up. That's when you're creating a version of you that nothing can break. Every rep in the gym, every late night of studying, every hour of sacrifice, it's all a vote for the person you're becoming. And the more votes you cast, the more undeniable your transformation becomes. The truth is, most people stop at the edge of discomfort. Quit when it starts to burn, when the results don't come fast enough, or when the world doesn't notice their effort. But the best version of yourself is born after that point. Growth doesn't happen at the beginning. It happens after you've been knocked down, after you've been tested, after you've had to face your demons and keep moving forward anyway. If you stop when it hurts, you'll always return to who you used to be. But if you keep going when it hurts, you'll meet who you were meant to be. Pain is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It's there to strip away your weakness, your doubts, and your illusions about who you are. The pain of growth is the price of greatness, and the best version of you is the reward for paying that price. So ask yourself, when was the last time you pushed beyond what was comfortable? When was the last time you did something that scared you, challenged you, or broke you down just to rebuild you stronger? If you can't remember, then you're not chasing your potential. You're protecting your comfort. You can't become extraordinary while living an ordinary routine. The best version of yourself doesn't live where it's safe. It lives on the other side of fear, doubt, and pain. You have to make a decision right now to stop running from the hard things and start running toward them. Because every obstacle is a doorway, every challenge is an invitation, and every failure is feedback. The only question is, will you walk through it, or will you stay where it's easy? People love to say, I want to become the best version of myself. But most of them don't realize what that actually means. Cutting off distractions. It means distancing yourself from people who don't align with your purpose. It means waking up early when everyone else is sleeping. It means sacrificing what's fun for what's necessary. It means outworking, outlasting, and outbelieving everyone who doubted you, including yourself. It means facing days when you don't see progress and still believing that growth is happening. Becoming your best self is not glamorous. It's a lonely, exhausting, brutal process, but it's also the most rewarding one, because the person you become at the end of that process is someone who doesn't break under pressure, doesn't beg for validation, and doesn't fear failure. You will lose people on this journey. You will outgrow environments that once felt like home. You will disappoint those who wanted you to stay the same. But you can't apologize for evolving. You weren't born to stay in one version of yourself forever. You were born to transform, to rise, to reach your highest potential. Growth is not betrayal, it's liberation. The people who truly love you will understand that. The people who don't will fall away. But that's okay, because the higher you climb, the lighter you must travel. Let go of the weight of expectations, fear, and old identities. You can't carry who you were into who you're becoming. The best version of yourself is already inside you. It's just buried beneath years of comfort, self-doubt, and fear. You don't need to find it somewhere else. You need to unleash it. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you chip away at the old you. Every time you keep going when it's hard, you prove that you deserve the life you're building. You don't need permission. You don't need the perfect moment. You just need to start right now, right where you are. Because the only thing standing between who you are and who you can be is the decision to grow, no matter what it costs. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop waiting for approval. Growth doesn't wait. It demands action. Get up and grind when no one believes in you. Stay focused when no one is watching. Keep going when everything in you wants to quit. That's how you evolve. That's how you become unstoppable. That's how you become the best version of yourself. Now, the third key to becoming the best version of yourself is mastering self-discipline. Because let's be honest, talent is nothing without discipline. Motivation fades without discipline, and dreams die without discipline. You can talk about success, visualize success, and even believe in success. But if you don't have the discipline to act when it's inconvenient, you'll never reach it. Discipline is the bridge between who you are now and who you were born to become. It's not about doing what you feel like doing. It's about doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. The difference between the average and the elite, between the talkers and the doers, is not intelligence, opportunity, or luck. It's discipline. The best version of yourself doesn't wait for motivation. It moves because it must. Discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows only through resistance. Every time you wake up when you want to sleep in, every time you train when you're tired, every time you say no to something that distracts you, you strengthen that muscle. But when you give in to excuses, when you skip the work, when you take the easy route, you weaken it. The best version of you is not built in moments of comfort. It's built in those silent, lonely moments when no one's watching, when it's just you and your goals, and you still choose to show up. Discipline doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about your standard. People always say they want success until they realize how much discipline it demands. They want the lifestyle, but not the lifestyle that creates it. They want the body, but not the diet. They want the business, but not the 18-hour days. They want the dream, but not the grind. But the truth is, the best version of yourself isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the dark, in the unseen hours of consistent effort. Discipline is the price you pay for greatness. You can't negotiate with it. You can't cheat it. You either pay now in discipline or later in regret. And the interest on regret, it's brutal. When you live with discipline, you begin to separate yourself from 99% of people, because most people are slaves to their emotions. They do what feels good, not what's right. But the best version of you learns to move regardless of emotion. You learn to show up when you're tired, when you're stressed, when life feels heavy. You learn to stop saying, I don't feel like it, because feelings don't build empires, actions do. When you live by discipline, your future becomes predictable, because consistency creates progress, creates power. The best version of you knows that one disciplined day repeated over time creates transformation that no luck or talent can replicate. You have to understand, discipline is a language of success. It's how winners think, how leaders act, how legends are made. You can't talk about wanting more out of life while living with undisciplined habits. Your habits are your future in disguise. If your habits are weak, your future will be weak. If your habits are strong, your future will be unstoppable. Discipline doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for persistence. You don't have to get everything right. You just have to refuse to quit. Because every time you choose consistency over comfort, you're becoming stronger, sharper, and more dangerous. Discipline also means mastering your environments. Because no matter how strong you are, if you keep surrounding yourself with distractions, you will fall. You can't stay disciplined in chaos. You can't grow in an environment that feeds your weaknesses. The best version of you knows when to walk away, when to isolate, and when to lock in. Discipline means saying no a lot. No to distractions. No to negativity. No to instant gratification. Because every no to what doesn't serve you is a yes to what will transform you. You can't become your best self while being addicted to comfort. Discipline forces you to delay the reward, to endure the boredom, to embrace the grind. That's how champions are created, not through hype, but through habits. There will be days when discipline feels like punishment. Days when your mind tells you it's pointless. Days when your progress feels invisible. But those are the days that count the most. Because when you can be disciplined in darkness, you'll shine effortlessly in the light. Discipline teaches you something motivation never can. It teaches you to trust yourself. When you do what you said you would do every single day, you begin to respect yourself on a new level. That self-respect is power. That self-trust is freedom. Because now you no longer need validation. You no longer rely on someone to push you. You become your own engine. You must also understand that discipline is love, real love for yourself. It's not punishment to wake up early, to train, to work, to study, to sacrifice. It's an act of self-respect. You're saying, I love myself enough not to settle. That's what people misunderstand. They think discipline restricts freedom, but in reality, it creates it. When you're disciplined, you're not controlled by temptation, distraction, or weakness. You're in control. You get to decide how your story ends, and that's the most powerful freedom there is. To truly become the best version of yourself. Discipline must become your identity, not just your tool. It's not something you do, it's who you are. You're the type who follows through. You're the type who keeps promises, especially to yourself. You're the type who doesn't quit because the standard is higher than the circumstance. That's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The discipline don't need perfect condition. They create them. They don't need applause. They perform in silence. They don't chase motivation. They build momentum. One day, the discipline you build now will become the foundation that holds your success together. The work you do today might not show results tomorrow, but it's planting seeds. Discipline is the quiet builder that no one sees, but everyone feels. And one day when the results come, people will call it talent, luck, or destiny. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't any of that. It was your discipline. It was the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the battles with your own mind, and the days you showed up when no one else did. That's what built you. The best version of yourself doesn't need the world to believe in you. You just need to believe in the process. Trust your grind. Trust your discipline. Every small action compounds into something powerful. Every disciplined day is a brick in the empire you're building. Keep stacking, keep pushing, keep showing up. Because the moment you decide that discipline is not optional, you become unstoppable. And when you're unstoppable, there's no version of you that can't win. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. You either become the person who talks about what they could have been, or you become the one who actually becomes it. Life doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't care how tired you are, how unfair things feel, or how heavy the load seems. It only responds to action. It only rewards those who keep showing up when it's easier to quit. You can sit and dream about who you want to be all you want, but until you start moving like that person, you'll never meet them. The best version of yourself isn't some fantasy. It's a reflection of what you're willing to endure, how much you're willing to change, and how deep you're willing to go when everything inside you says, stop. You have to stop waiting for the perfect moment because it doesn't exist. You have to stop waiting for motivation because it fades. You have to stop waiting for someone to save you because no one's coming. The truth is, it's always been on you.